Welcome to the Maximum Libertarian Podcast. I hope myself and my guests can effectively explain why individual liberties are essential to building a stronger community and supporting and helping the growth of the Libertarian Party. So please go over to MaximumLibertarian.com and discover all the ways you can help grow this podcast. Now on with the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Maximum Libertarian live here on Podbean. Today will be a short show. I know it's been a while since I've actually been on here. This will be a short podcast, like normal. We're already restarting something, and I'll make a big announcement, and then we'll start back over again. But that being said, here we are starting again. The plan is from now, currently, it's going to be every Saturday, 5 p.m. live Eastern Standard Time is going to be the new podcast live here on Podbean. Every 6 weeks will be live. Then every 2 weeks there'll be no podcast because of work schedule. So what I will do is just upload something and make a podcast. It will go out at 5 o'clock on them days. On anywhere you listen to your podcast, if it's Spotify, if it's Apple, or whatever the case might be. So I guess today what I want to discuss is, as you can see in the title, it said that the New York City is headed for a disaster courtesy of the team-loving voter. And that's what we live in today. As many of you know, when it comes to selecting our dear leaders, it's not that we're looking for the best and the brightest. What we're looking for is strictly, we're looking for who's going to win. And then we'll hedge our bets with who's going to win. Even though the individual that will win, or could win, more likely, is a horrible person and has horrible ideas. But because we wear our jersey, if it's blue or if it's red, we're so happy and proud because we're part of this winning team. And that's a mindset that we really have to get out of. America has been, being part of the American Legion and other veteran organizations, I have seen in my 49 years of life, I have got to witness Americanism dying, and it's because we like to play team sports. Now, if you have a neighbor who thinks differently than you, more than likely you don't care. As long as they're keeping their yard up and they're, not being a nuisance throughout the neighborhoods, everyone likes one another. But when you watch television or you look at social media, it can make you hate communities and demographics and all that good stuff. And you can actually have this horrible thought process. So one thing that the libertarians have got to do is get out of the minds. We really got to get to people where they believe we can win. They love our ideas. They like our thought processes. But when it's like, here's our he or she can't win. So until we can change the hearts and minds of the voters, it's going to be a lot harder, as you may or may not know. Now, up in New York City, they voted for the Democrat that they voted for. And let me go to his name real quick because I've already forgot it. That's how important he is to me. Zoran Manadani. He has only lived in the country for 7 years. But the but he's got some horrible ideas, and I want to go over them with you real quick here on the podcast. What I'm doing right now is I was looking up at the Libertarian meeting we had here recently. We had an individual speak from, and I want to give a shout out to their name. It's starvoting.com, or I'm sorry, starvoting.org. Because the one thing that New York City does have, which is smart, is ranked choice voting. That's because with ranked choice voting, guess what? Your vote's not wasted. You can't use well, if I vote for candidate A, I really like candidate D, but I've got to vote for A because if we can't let B win. Where if you voted for D, or whoever it is, if they don't get to that percentage, in ranked choice voting, you have to get to 50%. If you don't make it to 50%, it goes on to the next candidate. I'm sorry, it goes to the next round of voting, and then the lower portion of individuals would drop off, and then your vote moves on. So whoever your second person in second place would be, you get to vote for them. Now, with star voting, instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, that's how you have to chart. Yeah, you have to pick them that way. With star voting, you can give two candidates that you really like fives, that you really like them both equally. The other ones you think's 3, 2, maybe 0. And then what they do is they add up the numbers, and the top 2 individuals with the top numbers will move to the second round, and it's an instant runoff. And then your vote would be, let's say you gave that individual 5 and the other individual 5. Well, it's a wash because you like them both a lot. But if you like this guy at 5, this lady at 4, the guy who had the 5, he gets your vote, or vice versa. And then whoever has the most votes, they win. In reality, I think star voting was better. She sold me on it, and I said, well, that's what I'm going to start pushing for instead of ranked choice voting. And that way, you definitely don't have to say, well, I like this one bad. I like them both equally, but I'm going to have to just take this one. And that way, you can give them both the same number. So you could possibly get your candidate, and during the second round, they're the top 2. There you go, my friends. But here is the individual that the New Yorkers deemed as their Democrat to run against Mayor Adams, and the Republicans' decision was to run again Curtis Sliwa, who is the founder of the Guardian Angels. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's fine, but he's not going to win. Eric Adams is not good, but he's going to be better than this pile of trash, respectfully saying. But let's hear what his one big plan is for grocery stores. So this comes from Anthony Cumia, his show. You can find it at Compound Censored. But check it out here. Let me hit that play button on YouTube. Grocery prices are out of control. It's skyrocketing. All right. Well, that's how that's going to play, and that's fine and dandy. For whatever reason, it's not sounding good at all. So his plan is to make a public grocery store to compete with public grocery stores. And by not having, and he's not going to, that make them pay rent or taxes, and then he'll pass the savings on to you, the New Yorkers. That does not work. It will not work. It's been tried in the past, and why? The only reason the only reason socialism is even tried in this country is it gets propped up by capitalism. Now, granted, we've got crony capitalism. I understand that here in the United States. We don't have that really good, like, hey, if you work hard and you fail, well, that's the way it happens. What we've got is corporations are given tax breaks or given sweetheart deals, and then the average little Joe who has no money gets to pay all the taxes and all that good stuff. And I understand what the government does when they give like corporation a tax break because they're going to come into this old facility. They're going to break it down. They got to do a lot of massive cleanup. It's going to be thousands of dollars because of what was there. It's going to be asbestos and all this stuff. And the average little Joe who's opening up a tool shop is not going to be able to pay it. So they would buy the building and they're not going to be able to get it going anymore because they don't have the money to finish doing the doing it properly cleaning. So there's things that, I mean, it's a lot more difficult than I think we like to pretend. But that's really the big goal. Is like, but that New Yorkers voted for this guy. I remember, gosh, years ago when I was a kid, reading and hearing about the Democrats or Republicans, they would run. If you got called a communist or you got called a socialist, you would run from it. But now they, instead of running from it, they're running to it. And like I said, we have a whole, no, we don't. That's a lie. I'm about to lie to you. And that's not good to lie to you when I just got back live on the air. Uh, but no, the thing is, it gets propped up. Socialism is propped up by capitalism. I remember someone talked about feminism. They said feminism, the only reason we have feminism is because we allow it here in the country. Go over to the Middle East and show me feminism. You're not going to see it. And right now, a lot of feminists would gladly help pave the way for those individuals that are working, that will come here and will work hard against feminism. So I don't know what else to say. I mean, they are drilling a hole in their boat. But if New Yorkers don't wake up right now, I think he said that they're trying to get like a coalition, I guess, the Republicans and Eric Adams to work together so you can try to get this guy to hopefully, they can possibly vote Eric Adams back in for a second term. But I really don't know. And I hope Republicans and I hope the Democrats up in New York wake up and take all of the trash, the AOCs, the socialists. You can call yourself a socialist Democrat, but that makes zero sense to me. It's like a socialist is a socialist. I'm going to vote for one guy to chop my hand off, but I'm going to do it democratically to have this guy. Well, I'll vote which guy cuts my hand off. That's what it is. So you're going to vote. As long as I get to vote who starves me, that's all that matters. That's a Democrat socialist. But yes, New York City is dumb. But I think what you've had too is because Republicans quit following their principles when in power, and they did not give the people an opportunity. They've lost the people. And I think that's something where libertarians need to come in. And if we ever do get the power of any type, you've got to make sure that the people have power and you've got to show them goodwill. Republicans come in, they talk a big game about personal freedom, anti-censorship, things of that nature. And when given the opportunity, they will tape your mouth and make government bigger and larger and take your freedoms without blinking one bit. So libertarians have an opportunity. I still feel, even in our wacky world, we have the ability to go in and be somebody and change things. But hey, we really do need to fix this issue now, and hopefully we'll be fixing it sooner than later. Uh, Next year is Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're going to be voting in a new LNC possibly, or we might keep the same LNC. Who knows? But that being said, uh, our the party is made up of who shows up. Democrats, the party is made up of who shows up. Republicans, the party is made of who shows up. If you don't like how your party is being ran, show up. Make a change. It's easy to do. This isn't hard. We have, but yeah, I mean, so in turn, I'm going to work tirelessly down here in Virginia to hopefully, God willing, that the libertarians will get their act together. And if somehow, some way, the libertarians was to be dissolved, as the 7 wild card thought they were going to do, was to dissolve the party. If we were to truly dissolve, that's the end of me in politics. Yeah, I might vote, maybe, but I'm not going to waste my time anymore. This is exhausting. It's because I can have an individual talk to me and tell me how bad the Democrats are, and they're hardcore Democrat, but they'll tell me how bad they are. And when push comes to shove, they go vote for that Democrat. Republicans, identical. They'll spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes telling me how they should not, how we should not, that the Republicans have lost their way, that they're spineless, that they're all rhinos, la la la. And then when push comes to shove, rubber meets the road, and the actual vote is time. What do? They just walk in there and vote for the Republican. The same guy that they, or gal that they were telling me how bad they are. Never again will I vote like that. Now, I will tell you, this last election for president, the Chase Oliver campaign was exhausting. It was one of the worst ran campaigns I've ever seen. I thought Joe Jorgensen was a bad campaign, and the Jorgensen Spike Cohen ticket was excellent. She's just boring. They should have just flipped the Spike should have been the presidential candidate. She should have been the vice presidential candidate. But boy, they could have been a really wrecking ball, but they were just silenced. I don't know who the hell was. Whoever was running the campaign, and you can't, as much as I want to blame the campaign director, you got to blame in the end the candidate. They allowed that to be done like that. They did it. It was boring. It was unacceptable, and it was sad. Chase Oliver was a decent speaker. I think he does okay, but it was very boring and very tiring, and so that's it. You know, I hope in 2028 we put up. I want to see a unified Libertarian Party working extremely hard against the Democrats and Republicans. Not going, hey, let's invite them into our house to convince our members to vote for them. Because even though this last the Libertarian National Convention was a party, I saw multiple people that I loved, uh, listening to them speak. But all they were there for was to get votes. When Trump spoke to us, he wasn't there to convince that 0.4% to vote for him. He was there to get the 3% that he lost down in Georgia. When he lost Georgia in 2020. You know, same way with Bobby Kennedy or Vivek. I don't know. But if people don't start getting on board right now, New York City's lost. It's very sad. I think it's a okay city, I guess. I mean, it's a mecca. It's a heartbeat. People know it. It's probably the most popular city in the world, I'd bet you. But I don't know. The voters are just going in there, and I think because it's easy for someone to say, "See, this person's so rich, and you deserve money." Yeah, we're not going to discuss how you waste your money on different things or how you're not working hard to try to better yourself. Everyone just deserve it for no apparent reason, but just because you're here and we'll gladly give you something. This mayor, if he becomes mayor, which I assume he will, I saw he made a statement that he'll arrest Bibi Netanyahu if he ever comes to the wonderful city of New York. He's silly, straight up silly, you know. But you know what? I don't know what else to tell you. The only thing that I will say to wrap this 30 minutes up, because find something in your life that makes you happy and do that. If you follow politics with a great amount of, time, if you look at it on social media, you'll think it's all negative. The glass is half empty. But if you find something that you like to do where you actually benefit your community, you'll make yourself feel better. I may have said it before. I'm pretty confident I said it before. But I'm part of the American Legion. And with the American Legion, what we do is we do several things. They advocate for veterans and their families to Congress. But that's out of my realm. I'm not doing that. But what we do here at the Post is we bring vets from the VA and we have them pizza night and we show them a movie and feed them pizza. That's pretty cool. And that's when you see the individual who's stuck in the hospital able to come out and just do something like a normal person. I've taken bags with other guys and gals to nursing homes, those individuals that are stuck in there, and I take them a bag with a puzzle book, an ink pen, and squeeze ball, and things to that nature. And you can just see that they were happy, and then they just want to talk to you. And the sad thing is, a lot of times I don't have the ability or the time to sit down and talk with them. We're having to rush along. And, this upcoming, we're getting ready to pack this new set of bags, and then we're going to start it again. But this goal is, instead of going, let's go to X number places, we're going to 2 places, and we're going to deliver the bags, hand it out, and call it, and then we can sit there and talk about it. And that makes you happy. That makes me happy. Politics does not make me happy because people have given up because they think it's a team sport. Americanism is on hospice care. Now, is the glass empty? No. We can fill it up. But unless people start coming out and helping, it's not going to fill up. It will empty. And the America that you know, yeah, sure, more years are behind me that are in front of me. But when I leave, just like when I go to work and I leave my workplace, I don't want to leave it in shambles. You want to leave it better or able to be like how you had it. So I think that's something that people need to really focus on. Find something in your life that you can help your community, help yourself. Don't get too entangled into politics, because if you do, you're going to find yourself in a depressive state. And you know what? That's not a good thing. So, yeah. What else do I have to say about it? I don't know. Just, wherever you are, if you're listening to this, um, like I said, find someone, find something, get involved in that. Get involved in politics and start voting your conscience. Quit voting team sports. Team sports have led us to where we are now. $37 trillion in debt, Americanism on hospice care, people rioting in the streets, and they don't know why they're rioting. They're just out there. Trump did the worst thing since sliced bread. Sure he is. Sure he is. So was Obama. So was Biden. They're all criminals. We'll agree with that. All of them are criminals. But when you say Trump's the bad guy, but the old man Joe, he was fine. You're lying to yourself. I know the Libertarians don't always put up the best candidates, but sometimes what we're trying to do is win so we become a major party. If we get 10% here in this great Commonwealth of Virginia, we become a major party status for 4 years. We can just nominate a candidate. They get automatically put onto the ballot. That saves a lot of money. And then we go from there. We start doing other things. That's not the thing that we can bring out the superstar and change the game. But if I tell you you're going to have to spend the first $30,000, $50,000 on getting yourself on the ballot, yeah, you're not. It's going to be hard finding people to run. Good candidates, good quality candidates. So that's it, kids. I want you, like I said, I want you to find something, get your mind on that, benefit the community. You ought to benefit yourself something too. Do a little meditation. That's what I like to do. But yeah, break away from society in the aspect of, and then go back in. Just take a break don't break away from society. That might have been the wrong terminology. Just take a break sometimes. Society can be, people like to they'll raise you up and break you down, and they want to rebuild you for some reason. But who am I? I'm just some single guy here in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. So, I guess, oh, there's the music playing. That means I'm done. So until next time, my friends, stay centered.